Sup lifters. Today's leg session was very good in the sense that I did every single exercise that I would normally do, besides maybe one or two more addition, which however I feel like would have just ended up being junk volume. Also, from this side you can really appreciate, and with appreciate I mean notice the fact that I still tend to tilt my upper body towards the left for some reason or another when I squat. And that is really something that I feel like is hindering my performance when I squat. So I will have to actually find out and understand why do I do that and how to fix it. Right now I really don't have any clue. It is better when I have a narrower grip and when I do my mobility for, when I usually use the lacrosse ball on my chest and my lat in order to kind of release, the myofascial tissue of the shoulder, and that usually helps. However, as I said, it just helps. It didn't really fix the problem. So I don't really know how can I improve that, because it's really annoying, I can really feel that my leg kind of gets extremely shaky after I squat in such a fashion, because the weight on the left basically goes forward, and since the weight is more forward, there is much more quad activation on my left side, and my left quad is smaller than the right one, so it's also weaker. So it's kind of a mess. I'm gonna keep it simple, it's really kind of a mess. However, the session went amazingly. I felt nice, I'm hitting depth, there is no butt wink. So you can really see that in these 40 days, almost 50 days, wow, it's really weird to say. But if you stick to your goals, you're gonna get them. In these 50 days, I didn't just, circle jerk. I fixed a lot of stuff. I've come a long way, and I'm sure that I'm gonna fix this shoulder stuff as well. As you can see here, I'm using kind of a different grip. It's much narrower, but you can see that the position isn't like the same for every side, because in the right one my elbow is pointed more down, while in the left it's actually higher. And it's because I am actively thinking about basically pulling my left hand backwards in order to avoid having the bar tilt. However, as you can see, it still does, so it's relatively useful. Here you can actually see it from another side, and you can see that after the first squat, where my feet actually gets in the right position, I am glued to the ground. Although, the balance isn't... Look at that. Did you see how much my left leg shook? And that's just because of how my weight was basically tilting forward on the left side. But it is what it is. Yeah, I can't really do too much about it. I'm definitely not gonna stop. I'm not gonna stop squatting just for that. Doesn't make any sense. Rather, I just need to think of new solutions. Because if you think about it and you go to a therapist, he's gonna tell you, "Oh well, you're not gonna fix that. You just gotta rest." Or he's gonna tell you to do some weird ass exercises. But then again, why don't I find those weird ass exercises to do? Why don't I try to fix my own problem? I'm already doing great. The hip shift is almost gone. My feet position has improved a lot, and the depth has been going amazingly as well. And this is just in like 50 days. It's just 50 days. If you think about it, it's not a lot in the big picture, in the big scheme of things. So really, it doesn't really make any sense for me to actually asking to someone else when I can try to fix the problem by my own. However, the squats felt pretty nicely. I mean, they went up and down very easily. I feel like that I could be stronger if I didn't really have this type of problem with my upper back or left arm, call it however you will. But, again, I'm gonna fix it. So I don't really need to just keep saying this thing. I'm gonna fix it, I'm sure of it. I'm having nice progress. The form is nice. And all of the sets went nicely. Next time I can probably try going for 75 kilograms for reps. Since today I feel like I did like 8, 7, 7. I could just do one more session with 70 kilograms. I don't know if I want to do it. I probably should actually. So I think I'm gonna do it after all. But it's not needed, because for certain next time I will be able to hit 844. I then did Romanian deadlifts. As you can see, the back is very flat, and I started with 70 kilograms because last time that I did them was like 2 weeks ago, and I used 80 kilograms. However, they were pretty much not the opener, because I did front squat. However, my front squat was lighter than my current back squat, so I decided to drop the weight down and see how did I feel, and I felt nice. In fact, I did 2 sets with 70 kilograms, and then I bumped the weight up to 75, which again felt nicely, so I can just go to 80 most likely, or at least go to 80 for like 8 reps for 4, and maybe slowly increasing it to 10. I don't want to do too much reps because I don't want to stress my back too much, because in my ideal leg day I do actually 1 hip hinge and 2 knee flexions, and all of these movements actually require the back as a stabilizer and as a, not as a prime mover, but it needs to transfer the force, so I don't really want to stress it out too much. So that is why I basically feel like that I want to lower the reps. However, the thing is that if I do less reps, I need to use more weight, you know, you can't really escape from that. So I'm kind of in a pickle and I kind of need to see what I do. I definitely don't want to drop them, because you really need to also train the negative of the hamstrings. If you only do deadlifts and you only train the positive, you can't expect your hammies to be strong and resilient to different type of forces, you know. You need to train both ways, and that is why having Romanian deadlifts in your program is extremely important, even more important in my opinion than regular deadlifts, because they help you understanding how to lengthen your your hamstrings, and then how to recruit them when you basically pull it up, because the hamstring extends, and when you come up and you do the positive, the glute starts pushing and the hamstring starts shortening, and it basically pulls the knee and the hips closer together, if that makes sense. Because that is the function of the hamstring, you know. The quads extend the knee, and the hamstrings do the exact opposite, which is basically I don't really know what's the opposite word of extending. Anyway, in this clip you can actually see what I do between sets in the leg day. And I don't simply rest. I usually do all of this stuff where I decompress my spine, or I do some hyperextensions that you're gonna see in a second. Because you really get kind of hammered down, you know, having to hold weight compresses your spine, and although it's not a way that is gonna injure you, don't get me wrong, it just feels nice, you know. It feels nice to actually releasing it, and you see, when you do all of this stuff, you're activating your lower back, you're using it, and it really gives me a lot of relief as well as less dumps, I noticed. So that is what I do between sets. It's just a couple of reps, you know, you don't really need to do a full set, it doesn't make sense. So again, 75 kilograms, you do the walkout. Also, check out the color matching, you know, I went black white from bottom up. It was just randomly, I didn't really want to do it like on purpose. However, the else went fine, you know, they went very, very nicely. Nothing else to say. I just feel like they are just a weird exercise, because I always feel like that I do stiff legged Romanian deadlifts, in the sense that the difference between a deadlift and a stiff leg deadlift is that at the starting position your knee is behind your forearm in a stiff leg. In a regular deadlift, your knee is at least on par with your forearms. Then I did front squats and I increased the weight. I said that I could have done 50, but I wasn't feeling, you know, too confident after the Romanian deadlifts. I should have, because I smoked them. Although it was hard, I'm not gonna lie. I didn't just do it. It wasn't like just walking, you know. I still had to kind of struggle a bit on some reps. Anyway, front squats are an amazing exercise. They really are. I think I don't want to say that I prefer them to the front squat, because I really love them both in the same way, but they really teach you how to keep that thoracic extension. They really teach you how to brace. The way you brace when you front squat, that really teaches you a lot. You know, I feel like the best way to learn bracing is the front squat. And check this out. Look at this amazing form on my front squat. I know that I'm blowing my own horn. However, I watched the video from, I think he's a Russian/Bulgarian lifter, which does both Olympic weightlifting as well as CrossFit, of which I don't remember the name because it's super hard, I'm very sorry. And basically he was talking about how you should open up your chest when you're front squatting, which is something that I wasn't doing. And I feel like that my form improved so much with just such a little and small detail. Look at this, all of the reps are nicely, I can sink down at the squat, you know, it almost looks beautiful. Usually my squats are actually kinda ugly, but that front squat almost looked beautiful. And I also so happy that I keep hitting depth. that my hips aren't hurting and that everything is starting to feel in the right place, you know. The only thing that I need to address right now is that left shoulder stuff and my deadlift. Whether I want to go for sumo and hope that my hips allow me to, or something like that. I then just did hip thrusts, which weren't as consistent. You will see the numbers, they were slightly weird. However, 95 kilograms feel good. I feel like that is the correct weight that I should use right now. As you can see, I got squat, I got 8, 8, 8, 7, yeah, and then you're gonna bump up to 75. The upwards arrow means that it's high bar squat. Romanian deadlifts, 70, 10, 10, 75, 10, 10. Again, we can higher raise the weight. Front squat 45, we can raise the weight. Hip thrust actually is okay with the weight. I did 12, then 8, and I don't know if I miscounted because I kind of was thinking about other stuff while I was doing that, which is something you shouldn't do. But at the end of it, I felt like I did 8 and I couldn't get another rep. So I either just did more reps and I didn't count, which would actually make sense because then everything else felt pretty linear. You know, I got 10 and 9. However, we're gonna see it next time what happens. Anyway, this is a very good session. This is how your squat session should look. The only thing that you might want to add is a leg extension, but it's not necessary. And if you do, just do 3 sets as a burner. But again, it's not necessary, really. I feel like that this is like 95% of the work done. Leg extension is just a 1% more, which however costs some time. And then you might do leg curls, which actually make more sense than leg extensions, but again, they are not needed. Hope you guys enjoyed this session. I'm really happy to be able to squat. I'm grateful for that, and see you guys in the next one.